what Bannon's really good at, and Karl Rove was really good at this too. When George Bush was running for re-election, and it was pretty well known that George Bush had sort of like skirted around his military service. Yeah.
Where were you?
Well, I mean, look, this is what happened.
Somebody probably remembers me doing stuff.
He got his dad to get him into the National Guard instead of actually going to Vietnam. And then he sort of like, I don't know. Did he go AWOL? Yeah, he probably did.
Just chilling.
Chilling. He got out early. Let's put it that way. He had a doctor's appointment. And John Kerry, who served in Vietnam, got a Purple Heart, came back, testified in front of the Senate, I think it was.
Yeah.
Foreign Relations Committee, and famously said, who is going to be the last man to die for a mistake in Vietnam?
There's a Nixon tape of him reacting to that. He's like, God damn, this guy's going to be a politician one day.
Yep,
He's going to crush us.
But they knew that this was a liability, so they immediately attacked John Kerry as some type of like war fraud, essentially.
Crazy.
They swift boated him. Here's Steve Bannon.
I think people don't get the swift boat has the element that you're covering up the liability of your own candidate. Because I think like when I learned about it, it was like, oh, just an unfair attack.
No, but it is to neutralize the attacks on your opponent too.
Right.
And it's also to use the common parlance, stuff that's in the ether, and use it that way. And here is Bannon. And he is upset about the apartheid that's happening. But not that apartheid.
But did make progress versus the rearview mirror, which stands at 3.4. Now, if you consider 3.1,
the great Rick Santelli. This was a hot print. Market, don't take it from me. Wall Street's already down 400 points. Headline in CNBC. Inflation persistent, right? All the happy talk. Okay, let's go back in time. We want to make sure the War Room Posse is as smart as possible on this topic. Every institution that we have, because this is a fourth turning, they're collapsing around us. Their rearguard action is to stop Trump. All of them. The lawfare, all of it. And even the financial, which I'm going to get to here in a second. Because they cannot allow Trump to return to the White House savvier, smarter, tougher, more focused, with the MAGA movement ascendant. That's end of game to the globalist. That's breaking. What they try to do is set an apartheid state here in the United States for the MAGA movement, the deplorables. And we're in the process of breaking that.
All right, pause it for 1 second. I want you to, he's saying that we're in the process, like we have it, like he's in the process of breaking the apartheid that exists for the deplorables. Where are we witnessing that apartheid state?
Also, the guys who had the plan for the electors are talking about lawfare, which is great.
Exactly. But what is the apartheid? It's sometimes they make fun of you on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, isn't
what's the apartheid?
Right, because
like,
even the invasion.
What does
the invasion is anti-apart? That's like forced integration.
Exactly. Like what is like even the people who hear him say that? What do they think it is?
What is the War Room Posse? How do they interpret that?
What does the War Room Posse think that the ongoing apartheid in this country is? They do this all the time. They will take a word that is become like they do a Google trend search and see what people are looking up. And there, of course, people are looking up because of Israeli society. And they know that it's out there, and so they just apply it in like this fascinating way. Go back a bit; it's really fascinating. It's like? And I will also say, like, this whole notion of they're all just trying to get rid of Trump because they want to go after the deplorables.
Right.
It's fascinating. But what's also interesting is, do you remember? It wasn't that long ago he was talking like Trump is the sort of the moderate in this movement, but even he knows they need Trump right now because they have no There is no heir apparent to this movement at this point.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody will come up, but it's not clear yet.
But
and
he uses language like apartheid and lawfare, like, you know, when they say gorillas know how to language because they know how to like sign things, and they like learn the word for curious, and it's like, oh, this gorilla knows the word curious. It's like, no, it knows that when it says the word curious, it gets a reward for
Yes.
that. Like that's how
100%.
deep they're working with language.
Exactly. It is just, these are words that are around
Their
what I'm
vehicles.
talking about. There was a guy I used to do comedy with who I would write a script and I would just be amazed. Like he would go off it on sketches. And I can't remember exactly which bit it was, but I was just like, I was in awe. I was like, he's pulling stuff like that is so, and he came off and I'm like, dude, that was amazing. He goes, I have no idea what any of that was about. Like he just knew the words were in the sort of
Yeah.
the sphere of what the other words that he was saying was. But go ahead, play.
I want to make sure the War Room Posse is as smart as possible on this topic. Every institution that we have, because this is a fourth turning, they're collapsing around us. Their rearguard action is to stop Trump. All of them. The lawfare, all of it. And even the financial, which I'm going to get to here in a second. Because they cannot allow Trump to return to the White House savvier, smarter, tougher, more focused, with the MAGA movement ascendant. That's end of game to the globalist. That's breaking. What they try to do is set an apartheid state here in the United States for the MAGA movement, the deplorables. And we're in the process of breaking that. That's what this great comeback is MAGA ascendant. Now, remember, the financial community, I think the first time in American history, and I have a pretty good grasp on American financial and economic history. There's been other times, don't get me wrong, when they're all there to support the president, but this is a full-scale coming together, a really merger of the Treasury and Fed function to make sure they flood the zone with every piece of QE and stuff they're doing off the books to jack up this economy. To
Pause it for 1 second. They've raised rates under Joe Biden at a pace in which now, of course, you know, like when I was a kid, the interest rates were like 18, 19% or something. But they have raised rates as a multiple of like, I don't know, 4, like 3.5, like 3 times, 3x. I don't even know what it would be. Maybe at least double and a half, 2 point, you know, and they've had, I don't think there was ever a time where they raised rates this much. And it's quite clear. I mean, the stock market had already baked in the supposed lowering of rates in 2024, and then when it makes it look like, oh, maybe we won't be getting those as much as we think, then the stock market drops or whatnot. I mean, none of this stuff I really care that much about. But what he's saying is fundamentally untrue. Like if the Fed was dire to help Joe Biden, they would have started to drop rates already.
Yeah. No, he's right. It is apartheid. They're going to treat MAGA just like South Africa treated the Zulus.
MAGA apartheid.
MAGA equals Zulu. It's everyone's saying it.
When does he go? Like isn't this guy supposed to be in jail for for his border wall thing? What's happening with that case?
Not my MAGA stand. I'm ruling my MAGA stand fiefdom.
The idea that it's not just that there's an apartheid going on, they're actually in the process of breaking the apartheid.
So the We Build the Wall scheme trial is set for May 24. So it's coming up in 3 months.
In other words, the apartheid trial?
That's right.
Where they impose apartheid on him for scamming people out of building wall money?
We're going to build a giant wall to keep us safe from exclusionary people.
Oh my God.